Hello, my name is Stacy Mungo, and I've served 3 terms as a neighborhood association president. Over the last several years, neighbors have gathered together and discussed the association's strengths and goals. One thing was always clear: strong neighborhoods improve everyone's quality of life. Long Beach neighborhood associations support community watch programs, and today we've brought together 2 individuals to teach us more about what we can do in our neighborhoods to improve the quality of life. Our intent today is to introduce you to people and resources that support safe neighborhoods, share the accomplishments of community watch programs, and share how you can join a community watch program in your neighborhood. 2 of the individuals who lead the efforts to support safe neighborhoods are here with me today. We have Chief Jim McDonald. Chief McDonald is a leader recognized for bringing people together for solutions, and our city prosecutor, Doug Halbert. Doug Halbert has been nationally recognized for starting Long Beach's first community prosecuting program, a neighborhood effort to reduce crime. Thank you for being here, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Today, I'd like to start by talking about crime stats. We've had a pretty successful year, and at your press conference recently, you were able to share the successes of our committed police force. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're very proud of it, actually. In light of the staffing reductions we've taken over the past couple of years due to budget constraints, the realignment program throughout the state, and so many of the other challenges we've faced, to be able to come away with, from 2013, with the numbers we came away with, I think is a cause for celebration, certainly within the Long Beach Police Department, but more importantly within the city of Long Beach, because it is one big team. We don't do it alone, we do it with the community, and in order to be successful, we need to continue that. And as we'll talk through this, I think we'll come away with hopefully some ideas going into 2014 where we can try and make it even better.
So Doug, since you prosecute the crimes that these fine officers apprehend for us, does that mean that your workload is low?
Well, our workload hasn't changed much in the last 4 years, and as the chief alluded to, there have been a number of things conspiring against us, if you will. We've had the early release of prisoners from state prison and from county jail. We obviously have a continually lagging economy. There are a lot of problems that surround us here. And also, the chief also mentioned he has fewer resources, and my office has fewer resources. So I think it's pretty noteworthy, the reduction in crime. And I think it definitely comes down to not having more police officers on the streets, because we don't. It has to do with better policing, better use of the community, who are the eyes and ears of the police department. I think that's responsible in large part for the city of Long Beach's continuing reduction in violent crime.
Absolutely. I know that our community watch meetings, officers come and share with us community crime prevention tips. Chief McDonald, would you be able to share some of those tips with our audience today so that they can benefit from your knowledge?
Sure, absolutely. I think the things that too often we take for granted are the things that end up costing us the most. Oftentimes we'll hear from a burglary victim or someone who's had their car broken into that I was only going to be gone for a couple of minutes. I left the door open, or I left the window down, or whether that's the residence or the vehicle, the result is the same, that there's opportunists out there that only take a couple of seconds to be able to take from you what you work so hard to get. So doing the little things like locking doors, locking windows, don't leave anything in your vehicle that's visible from the street, lock it in the trunk. Don't lock it in the trunk at the scene that you're getting out at. Do it before you get there so somebody doesn't watch you do that. It's little things that if you just give it a couple of seconds to think about, if I was an opportunist looking to take something from someone else, am I making myself an easy victim? And I think if you can answer that and feel good about it when you walk away from your residence or your vehicle, that you're probably in pretty good shape.
Those sound like really important strategies. Make sure you lock your car doors, make sure you lock your doors, don't leave anything in sight that someone might want to take. Doug, can you discuss the importance of community watch programs for a city as large as Long Beach?
Well, I think the key ingredient to a successful neighborhood watch or community watch program is knowing your neighbors. One of the most important things, one of the most important trends we've seen is an increase in residential burglaries. But often these crimes are thwarted by people calling the police when they see suspicious activity. I know of one example where someone called because they saw what looked like suspicious drug sales in their neighborhood. And the police department's narcotic division did do an investigation, and when they found the person was selling drugs, we started an eviction process, and that family moved out of the neighborhood altogether. So not only did it prevent the sales in that one house, but it basically improved the neighborhood by limiting the source of drug sales. But it all started with the neighbor, a neighbor who was paying attention, who was watching closely, and who knew who their neighbors were. They knew when people should be coming and going. And by making that call to the police, they started in action a number of things that resulted in making their neighborhood safer. And that's really a good model for how Long Beach can become safer, is awareness and knowing your neighbors. It starts with that.
You mentioned suspicious activity. So one of the things that you may not know when you call the police is what kind of things do we need to tell the dispatchers when we see suspicious activity? Chief McDonald, could you elaborate on that?
Sure, absolutely. What we hear, Doug talked about it, but what we hear frequently is we get to a location after a crime has been committed, and people say, I saw that guy there yesterday, or he was out here this morning and I didn't call. Well, why didn't you call? Because I didn't want to bother you. I didn't see the guy doing anything. I didn't have anything concrete. You know, please, we want to respond. We want to respond before the crime happens. So if you see somebody that you know doesn't live in your neighborhood but is hanging around there, is watching the street, watching you know, other residents or vehicles, give us a call. We want to come out, check the person out, talk to them, and find out what they're doing out there. So often we've been able to, in some cases, break up burglary rings by alert citizens who step forward and said, hey, something doesn't feel right here, can you take a look at it? And we are more than happy to do that.
What number should they call? The non-emergency line or the 911?
911 is fine. If there's somebody out there that they feel is a suspicious person, is a threat, call the 911 number, and we're happy to send someone out. It's great for us to be able to have that kind of situational awareness where we're able to let the officer in the area know that some of the members of the community have a concern about a vehicle, about somebody walking the streets. And the kind of information that we're looking for is a description of the person, a description of the vehicle if they have one, a direction of travel, those kind of things, so that if we're to send a helicopter, or if we're to send a black and white over, the officers at a glance can be able to identify the person that the neighborhood has a concern about.
You mentioned that we can call 911. I know that there's a lot of misconception about whether you can call 911 from your cell phone, but recently there's been some changes. Could you share that with us as well?
Sure. It used to be that if you dialed 911, it would automatically go to the CHP and have to be rerouted back to the local police department. It's been fixed now so that when you call 911 and you're in the city of Long Beach, the call is geocoded and sent directly to the Long Beach Police Dispatch. And then the call, depending on the type of call, is either handled by police dispatch or rerouted over to fire dispatch for appropriate action.
That's great. That's great news for everyone. So now that we know about some of the tips that we can heed to make sure that we're not victims, and we've heard about the crime stats and the success you've had over the years, when someone wants to start a community watch or join a community watch, how do they do that?
Yeah, the easiest way is, and we'd love everybody to be able to get to know their officers who work the area that they live in. Nobody knows an area better than the people who live in that area, you know, and as much as our officers are familiar with what's going on out there, they don't live there. They're not there 24/7. So for the people in the community to feel free to build a relationship with the officers who patrol their area, as well as with the patrol resource officer, and we have one officer assigned in each of our divisions in that function. That's the person that you would reach out to say, I want to set up a community watch. They'll guide you through the process and be able to help you set it up as best they can, attend the meetings, or arrange to have the officers in the neighborhood attend the meetings to be able to provide whatever insight we can, but more importantly to be able to glean from the community what concerns, what information they have to help us do our job better.
You know, one thing also that the police department does a very good job about is being in the community when there are neighborhood association meetings. It seems like every neighborhood association meeting I'm going to, there's a commander or there's a lieutenant, and that person's there to discuss crime trends, because you're right, people don't know what to call, what to report. But when you hear about the different types of scams and things going on in the neighborhood, when people share information, they're alerted to what to look for. And so not only being the eyes and ears of the police department and calling when they see something suspicious, but becoming engaged in your own neighborhood will help you learn what's going on out there, and so you know when to place a phone call because you're worried about some activity.
Those are excellent points, Doug. Thank you very much for that. I know that several years ago, actually 1 year ago and 2 months, you were at our community watch meeting. We had 150 people there, and the commander attended as well. And he shared those crime stats with us. And year over year, crime is down in every single one of those categories, because he taught us that we were being mostly looked at for leaving our car doors unlocked and leaving our garage doors open. And so if we all pitch in and make sure we know what to look out for and how to protect our neighbors, look out for one another, we can all improve crime stats overall.
Right.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience tonight?
If I could, just a thank you to the residents of Long Beach for working with the police department, for working with our city prosecutor, our fire department, and all of us trying to make public safety a priority and trying to make this city even safer. We're working off very good statistics here now for the closeout of 2013, but there's no reason to believe we can't take these numbers even lower. And I think when things are bad in a city and violence is high, there's a kind of a feeling that you want to pull back and you want to stay in your own residence and not get engaged in the community. Well, we're at an all-time, a 41-year low right now. Now's the time to come out of your residence, to get involved in the neighborhood, to be able to work with other members of your neighborhood to make your block, your city, your streets even safer. So let's take advantage together of that opportunity and to be able to build on something great that we have here today.
Well, thank you both for joining us today, and thank you to our audience. We really appreciate you tuning in and learning how to help us prevent crime. Join your local neighborhood community watch and make sure to continue to watch padnet.tv. Thank you.